Welcome to episode 210 of the Muck Podcast. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Hanna.
And I'm Hillary Doherty.
Hillary.
Hi.
Please just tell me stuff. I have no news.
Okay.
I know there's news happening, and I know once you say stuff, I'll go, oh yeah. I've just been I've been in the weeds this week. I've been busy.
Well, I've been obsessed because we have gotten so many amazing court responses about Trump and all these things that are coming to light. And, listening to the so today's February 8th, they had the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court threw him off, Trump off the ballot in Colorado. So now the case was presented today and they allowed microphones in there. So I was listening to the back and forth between the lawyers for and against whether he should be there. And I always love how the judges can interrupt, the justices can interrupt and ask questions. But I gotta tell you, it is endlessly fascinating, all of this, because, and I hope y'all are paying attention, because these are things that are happening, that we're deciding these cases, or judges are deciding justices that have never happened in 150 years, but have never happened with a president. Like, these are really, really interesting. And so the answers that we're getting coming out of like the DC Circuit Court on whether a president could be held for doing crimes, committing crimes while he's in office, are coming out, and they're doing it when they released these. It was a panel of 3 judges, and when they released the answer, it was, this is where the court stands. They didn't list their individual names, and I think there's a couple reasons why. One is because of how these judges are being attacked now. Yeah. And they want to remain with their names off of it, except that this is how we have ruled. But the next stop is the Supreme Court. And so there's a stay on this answer until Monday, February 12th, where Trump's team can file an appeal, and that appeal goes in front of the Supreme Court. And that's really important. And now that will be, the next step will be, will the Supreme Court take this up? Which they shouldn't. What they really should do is stay out of this, okay? Right. They should say this stands. Because their answer, also those 3 judges in DC, the answer was riddled with quotes from cases that were determined by Gorsuch, by Kavanaugh, by Alito. So they really used the Supreme Court's justices' words in their answer that Trump can be held, or a president could be held liable. So,
and don't you think the other major issue is that how do these judges who are appointed by Trump maintain a fair and objective position? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that, and you can't, if they all recuse themselves, like what, I think you're right. Like there's other factors that they should stay out of it, and they should leave it up to the state. Yeah, the Republicans that are all about leave everything up to the state.
Well, this is different. This is the DC Circuit one isn't the Colorado. The DC one is can a president be held liable for committing illegal acts while in office?
I mean,
and
why
the answer
not?
is yes, because he wasn't doing anything that was in his duties as the president of the United States, and so they're saying absolutely. And there was so many amazing quotes from it. One that I thought was particularly interesting. They said, quote, Trump's stance would collapse, his stance on this case, would collapse our system of separated powers by placing the president beyond the reach of all 3 branches. We cannot accept that the office of the presidency places its former occupants above the law for all time thereafter, which is absolutely correct. Right? If you say that you're above the law, you can do whatever you want, and the Congress can't hold you responsible. The Supreme Court can't hold you responsible. That's the basis of our government, are these 3 branches of checks and balances. You absolutely can be held
And I feel like this is basic common sense. Like, if you're doing something in the duty of president and, it has to do with war or things like that, okay, I get it. Like, there should be some protection because that's a different situation. But if you're doing something for your own personal desire that has nothing to do with your role, why do you get a get out of jail free card?
Yeah, no.
Nobody gets that.
And you know, one of his arguments too that
Such a crook.
Yeah, that I thought was interesting was that he said, you know, it would be a chilly response if the court said that presidents could be held liable, because what could happen in the future, like, you know, presidents would be afraid to make decisions.
Oh, please.
And one of the judges said it absolutely would be chilly, but if they commit a crime, they should be afraid to commit the crime because they would be held responsible and liable for the crime that they committed. That's why it's there. Like, you can't, you know, but here's a couple of other things.
So they could just go and murder somebody randomly. They murder their spouse, right? Oh, but I was president, so it doesn't count.
Right.
They go to a bank and they rob it. Well, I was president, it doesn't count. Like, none of this, they embezzle money. Well, I was president. None of this makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, his case was very flimsy to begin with.
But
they, a couple other things is, like, you know, the Supreme Court loves to put this Supreme Court loves to put their foot into things that they shouldn't. Like, this case in DC should absolutely go in front of a jury, and the American people should have a jury's response whether he's guilty or innocent of this crime, because it's our president, it's our voice, it's our vote, and I don't think that 7 people, half of which he appointed, should be making that decision on behalf of the American people and taking that choice away from us. You know, and the other part, all
about taking choice away.
The other part is if he appeals it and puts it in front of the Supreme Court Monday, he asks them to hear it. If they agree to hear it, there, you know, every step of this, every day that goes by that this trial doesn't start, we're getting closer to the general election, and that's not good. It's a win for Trump. Because if this, you know, if they hear, let's say the Supreme Court's like, yeah, we're going to take this up. We're not going to let the DC Circuit Court stand. So we're going to take it up. They could hear arguments as early as April and come out with a decision in May or June on this decision. Now we're pushing it farther away, where if it stays right now, we could have this court case start as early as the beginning of April. And we could have an answer by May or June whether he's guilty on this or not. And because the further you push it, let's say the court case gets pushed to October because we're waiting for the Supreme Court to come out. And then, of course, the election's in November. The judge is going to be like, there's no way it'll be interfering
with the election.
Right? And if he gets reelected and he's still in court, what if there's an answer? What if he's elected and he wins?
Then found guilty.
And then found guilty, and he's not inaugurated yet. He still doesn't have you know what I mean? We're pushing into a way that's like, these are chaos, unprecedented times. Yeah. And so the need to have an answer, to have this case heard and have this answer right away is important. Now, what I'm hoping is that because they said yes to the Colorado case, which I believe, by the way, I don't, listening to these arguments today, they were all kind of flimsy, but I don't think they're going to allow him to be on the ballot. So if the Supreme Court allows that, maybe they won't take up this case. And they'll say, we helped you here, we're not helping you here. Like, maybe that'll be a thing.
I don't know. Or because maybe they're like, well, we helped you here, and we'll help you there, and we'll help you everywhere, because, you know.
Maybe. And it also sounds like a Dr. Seuss.
I know, I was just going to say.
Dr. Tina.
That's our next book.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know. It's really interesting, but I mean, as far as like the Colorado ballot, I mean, I'm all for taking them off all the ballots, but the case that I heard today in front of the Supreme Court, it doesn't sound like they're going to go for this, and it sounds like they're going to allow him to be on the ballot. And quite frankly, because they're saying he's an insurrectionist and he was a part of this, but we haven't gotten to that case yet. Like, to me, I think he needs to be found guilty before any other court can say, now that you've been found guilty as an insurrectionist against this country because of your acts, all of the video, the speeches, the tweets, all that stuff's coming in as evidence. Like, now that we found you guilty for this, now we're going to say you cannot be allowed to be president of the United States. And the reason why these insurrectionist laws exist is because of the Civil War, because of the South, because of those traitors, because all of those the insurrectionists who tried to overturn the government during your rebel, Confederate days, those Confederate people were trying to run for office. Yeah. And the guys in DC were like, no. Excuse me, Georgia, excuse me, Alabama, please don't send people traitors to this country to office. And so that's why all of these laws existed in the first place, which is fucking nuts to me. The fact that crime, a civil war against this country, those laws are now coming into play in 2024. And the justices were like, the Supreme Court justices were like, well, how come we've never had to, use these laws before? It's been 150 years before you had to look at these laws.
Yeah, because there's no one like Trump.
Yeah, and the guy was like, because we've never had a January 6th. And let's be honest, like I said to you and Justin today on our text thread, there's never been a person like this.
No.
A president or a candidate like this. And the fact that he cited this, he 100% did this crime. And I hope to God that we as the American people see him in court one day being tried for it. Because he's a fucking traitor. And so is Marjorie Taylor Greene, who stood up at a press conference demanding that we don't call her an insurrectionist and the people who stormed the Capitol insurrectionists. She's a fucking traitor to this country. Yeah. Anybody who tries to wash away what actually happened that day is a fucking traitor. And they want you to forget because they want to do it again. They want to commit more crimes.
They just want full power and control in this country. And my worry is what you said earlier, that it's going to be pushed out to the point where it's maybe too close to the election and they have to say, well, we can't interfere, right?
Right.
So that it's a fair election.
I mean, we've only had 4 years to fucking do this. I don't know what the fuck's been going on, but
everything drags in the court systems. Like, everything takes forever. But then, like, will these judges, sitting on the Supreme Court do a delay, knowing that if we delay, he gets to have his election and then see what happens there, and if he's not elected, then whatever, they can make whatever ruling they want. You know what I mean? Like, are they going to push
Here's the thing. To the point? It's almost like it almost sounds like nobody wants the hot potato.
And and again, that shows that we cannot trust SCOTUS, because if they are doing this to try to curry favor with the person that elected them, and he's probably like, just hold off, let me get this election.
I don't know if it's going that far, but I just think that they don't want to be the ones to make these decisions. And I think that it's easier. They're not dumb. They know what cases could possibly come before them. Right. And I think that they took the Colorado one because it's easier to say no to that one. I understand that one. Put them on the ballot in Colorado. Bunch of high fucking hippies out there. No one gives a fuck, right? So like you know what I mean?
There's
like
some people there though.
Fine,
don't worry about.
Well, yeah, that's where Bobert's from, isn't it? Okay, my bad, my bad, yo,
the gunslinging cafe, and all that crazy shit over there.
My B. But I don't give a fuck about that. This case, this is the one. This is the one, and I want him tried for that. Like there's no way. And the case was so fucking flimsy. So also I'd sent you a podcast and I listened to about all these cases, and they talked about the Georgia one, and you had talked about it last week, and I was like, what is this? And so after you mentioned it to me, Fani Willis and her love affair, I went and I was looking it up. So I listened to a whole thing about it. Basically, it's not a good look.
No.
Okay, it's not a good look.
Not a good look.
The worst thing that can happen again is that there will be a delay.
Yeah.
Maybe she's removed. But the fact of the matter is, she should not have hired this person.
Down. Didn't he step down?
I think so.
Yeah.
But it's not like she was fucking a juror or a judge. Nobody who could interfere with the case. So
they're all on the same team.
So that the worst thing that could happen is it's delayed a couple weeks from starting, but the case will move forward. He is still going to be tried. The case isn't being thrown out.
They're trying to get it thrown out.
Right, but that's not going to happen.
But it's just, it's to me, it's like, why even risk the delay? Why risk all of this? Like, this is our time.
Yeah.
This is our time. Can we just please, can we stay focused?
Yeah.
Stay in the game.
Yeah.
And then go party with your baby afterwards. Like, figure it out. But like, we need the eye on the prize.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I got to tell you, I have never been more excited. I really thought, and I am, I'm listening to what's happening in the legislature here in Florida, but I really thought these first 3 months were going to be just focusing on that. But these cases are keeping us busy. So the other thing that they talked about a lot in that Supreme Court case today was like, well, this should be in Congress. Congress should be doing this. And this is what Congress decides. And I'm like, oh my God, if it came back to Congress to decide whether Trump should be held for these crimes, like it would stall here. It would stall there. We would never get an answer. We would never. And you know what? Like, I would be worried that maybe the Republicans would get together to be on Trump's side. But these motherfuckers are so bad at their jobs in the House. Did you see what happened yesterday on February 7th? This Mike Johnson.
Oh, God.
That little baby. I'm going to call him baby boy Mike Johnson.
Ooh.
Baby boy Mike Johnson does not know how to do his job. Now, this is where I know I dragged Nancy Pelosi. I got it, okay? But that bitch could do her job. And she never, ever took a bill to the floor.
Loose dentures and all.
Yeah.
Loose dentures and all. She got
earrings
this
falling
job
off
done.
at the fucking podium and all. She would never take a bill to the floor that she didn't have votes, that she knew was going to pass or fail. Because that's embarrassing.
She knows how to play the game.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, she knows how to play the game.
You don't ever bring something to the floor that's going to make your party look bad. Well, Mike Johnson this week, I don't know what they were thinking. But, you know, we all know they're fucking with the border security. They don't want to negotiate that bill. They don't want to talk about it.
Favorite.
We gave them everything they wanted in it.
The person who helped write and negotiate the bill is like, I don't think I'm going to vote on it now. Like,
well,
okay.
the guy Langford, who's the U.S. senator out of, I think, Missouri, he's one of the most conservative Republicans in fucking government. He's voted like number 2 most conservative person. He was the one in the Senate negotiating all of this, and he's like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?" Like, he's on every news conference going, "I don't know. I worked for months to get them what they wanted. I don't He stood on the floor of the Senate, like, I don't know how else to help you. And when he was being interviewed, and this news guy was like, "Well, there seems to be a whole bunch of, what is this, like this pork in here?" And he cites this one line, and he goes, well, the guy Langford's like, "Well, that's to provide water to the migrants that are coming across the border." And he's like, why would you need to do that?" And he goes, "Because they're human beings and we don't want them to die from dehydration." Like, what is going on?
It's
what are you talking about? It's picking apart something that it was the most beautiful thing Republicans wanted.
Yeah.
And one of the other people negotiating was the Homeland Security Director, Mayorkas, and today, this is where they fucked up in the House, they tried to impeach him. And this is somebody who was working with them to get the fucking shit they wanted. They got him everything they wanted, and they're like, who can we blame? Because they can't blame Trump, who told them not to take the deal.
Yeah.
Who can we blame? We'll blame Mayorkas. They go to impeach him. They lose the vote. They got the majority, I'd like to let you know.
Yeah.
They have the majority now.
And now Mayorkas like, "What's up, fellas?
Yeah.
What's up?
And then,
I'm back. I am not going anywhere."
Yo, Mayorkas in the house.
In the house.
And the other thing that they tried to pass right after was a single aid package to Israel. Because that's their thing. They were going to put all this stuff in this one immigration or border bill.
And it was for Ukraine, I believe.
Ukraine and Israel was in it, and Korea. Now, we don't want that. Even though that they wanted it before, now they don't want it. So they tried to say, we want to do these by themselves, these aid packages. Okay, so then they put up this one aid package for Israel. Fails. Fails. Like, by the way, they're not sending money to Ukraine. They're not sending money to Israel. Like, these are places, they all are supposed to be getting this aid. Ukraine? Are you fucking kidding me? This is year 3 of that war, by the way.
That we don't hear barely anything about.
I see pictures and videos all the time. It's shocking. It's
shocking.
shocking.
I'm talking about, like,
No, I know. No, it's not.
It's not.
And these motherfuckers are in D.C. playing games with people. Playing games.
Just full of hate.
It's crazy. I don't know. I just find it hilarious that you have this, like, Matt Gaetz gang of 8 people who have held everything hostage. And now Mike Johnson's fucking up. And you know what they're... Matt Gaetz came out and said, Kevin McCarthy would be great to run the RNC. So now he likes Kevin McCarthy? What the fuck is going on?
Oh my God.
They're crazy. My last thing was that yesterday in the Florida Supreme Court, they heard hearing. They had a hearing because the state and Ashley Moody, this fucking wino cunt.
Oh my God.
She is saying that
people can't read in Florida, basically.
The petition, so they put up a petition because they want to put abortion rights on the ballot, like they've done in all these other states. And this working group of people got over 1 million signatures. You only need like 890, I think, to get it on the ballot, something like that.
We got over 1 million because they're going to throw,
They're going to throw some out, but over 1 million and counting, like still getting a petition signed. And so we did all that work gets done across the state of Florida. By the way, Republicans and Democrats signing alike. This is a nonpartisan issue. This is
women. Women want control of their bodies.
And the men that care about them. And people want health care for their loved ones and their friends and family. This is what it's about. Well, they're challenging the language on the petition that it's too vague and people won't be able to understand viability and all this nonsense. So Supreme Court heard some testimony yesterday or some it sounds like they're laughing them out of there. Now we know that they're very conservative justices on the Florida Supreme Court, so I don't know. But from the way they were doing their back and forth, they're like, I think Floridians know how to read.
Yeah, they know how to read. That was like the big headline.
Yeah.
Like, Floridians know how to read. I mean, yes, we have Florida Man, and so people may doubt.
Yeah.
There's probably some doubt. Books are banned, so, I can, and, education is under attack. So I would understand why people outside of Florida may think that Floridians can't read. But, we can. We actually can.
We can read. We know how.
We know how to do that. Ashley Moody.
So I guess, hopefully we'll hear something soon, but maybe that'll get put on the ballot in November. That would be fantastic. I think that it will.
God.
I think hopefully.
How exciting.
I think hopefully it'll be on there, and I think that it will overwhelmingly pass.
And there were so many people up in Tallahassee, like, Nancy Mateo was there, and Mary Eakins Durant. I'm going to say her name wrong, sorry, but Mary Eakins was there, and just so many other people who've been fighting for this.
Oh my God, forever.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. So hopefully it'll be on there. My only concern has been, my only concern this entire time with the petition has been, once it passes and people vote for it and it becomes law, it'll be an amendment. The Floridians want this.
They'll find a way.
Then it goes to Tallahassee and they have to basically certify it there in the next legislative session for next year. And that's when they start to pick at it.
Yeah.
And so there's a very good chance that they'll pick at it and it'll make it
they did
harder.
It to
and make it not real anymore.
They've done it to the amendment for restoring voting rights to formerly incarcerated people. They found a loophole to prevent people from having access to voting.
They created a poll tax,
basically,
which is like Jim Crow era laws.
Yeah, you have to pay your court fees was the thing, and then people voted. I think a couple of times. I know definitely they voted for the legalization of marijuana, and then they tore that apart. And so it's just they are not doing the will of the people, and that this to me is the epitome of the Republican Party. And if you look at America nationwide, popular vote, they'd all be out.
Yeah,
they would all be out, and that's why they don't want to get rid of the Electoral College. That's why they want to gerrymander everything, because they know that they have no power unless it's rigged power. That's it. And we need to everyone needs to step up about this. I mean, it's outrageous to hold on to these laws from, the creation of our country that it doesn't work anymore. And these originalists and constitutionalists, the reason they want to keep things as it is because they want to be the group that always has power and they don't want to share that power. And it's destroying our country. It's destroying our country. It's destroying our education. It's destroying the lives and mental health of our kids, our LGBTQ kids. What are we doing? I'm just so I'm just sick of it. Women's bodies, it's just one thing after the next. And they celebrate how mean they are. And that's the thing that's most disgusting to me. They celebrate being hateful, but they're Christian. And then, the other half of them are cuckoo conspiracy theorists. It's fucking wackadoo.
It's a crazy time to be alive.
It's a crazy time. I was thinking today, what, and we've talked about it before, but man, my grandkids, my great grandkids, if there's an America, right, or, you know, or
a United States,
a United States of America, or what America was supposed to stand for, if that even exists, how are they going to learn? What are they, you know, what is that going to be like when they go back and learn about what happened in this country and like where things went awry? And
listen, we're standing on it. Like, this is really,
it's wild we are living in this, because I never thought that I would be living through, you know, you learn in school about like these movements and these things, and you know, I never thought like I would be a part or living in a time of turmoil. Like, I remember learning about like Nazi Germany and reading like Anne Frank as a kid in 8th grade and being like, oh my God, like, you know, crying and reading that book and like what she went through, and like, how could people be so mean, and how could, you know, a government do this? And like, we're living in, you know, a move towards fascism.
Yeah.
And it's 100%. Scary. It's
and
scary.
The only thing that is saving us right now is that they can't pull it together.
Thank God.
They can't pull it together to actually do damage. Like, they can't do it. I gotta tell you, I don't
because
know,
they don't read books and they're idiots.
But I haven't heard like one bill that comes out of Congress that's good. I haven't heard about like, what are you working on? Like, it's constantly like, aren't you exhausted from constantly having to defend yourself? Or here's something that keeps me up.
Showboating. All they do is showboat.
But something that keeps me up at night is, how do they twist these stories like this? Like, when you watch Marjorie Taylor Greene at that podium, and she's going on and on and on, and she's very sure, and she's really fucking serious, and she thinks she's right.
Oh, she has all the information wrong half the time.
I just don't know how, like, it'd be like Tina sitting here wearing a black jacket, and I say to literally people who can look and see her and say, Tina's wearing a red jacket right now.
Yeah.
Don't ever come to me and tell me she's not wearing a red jacket, because that's wrong. You're wrong.
That's the deep
You are
state.
Wrong for saying that.
That's the deep state
because
trying to mess with you.
Tina would never wear a black jacket. That's something Tina would never do. She only wears red jackets. Don't ever come. That's literally what's happening.
Yeah.
Millions of people around the world watched in real time while you ran for your life, girl. They watched people storm the Capitol and rub their fucking doo-doo.
Their feces.
They rub doo-doo on the walls, bitch.
Doo-doo brown.
Doo-doo brown. They rubbed them doo-doo browns on the walls, girl. Okay?
Oh my God.
And you are sitting here trying to tell people who saw things with real eyeballs. This isn't fucked up. This is the most... Don't you know how fucking nuts you look? Like, let's really think about what you're doing.
They're framing it as a protest.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
They clearly have not been at a protest.
It's crazy. I've never, but it's regardless. It's like, you can say, oh, it was a giant birthday party.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing you're gonna say that's gonna take away from the literal fucking facts.
Yeah.
This isn't speculation of what happened 150 years ago. This literally happened 3 years ago. And we witnessed it on live television. And people have video cameras on their phones. We have footage from people breaking windows and going in. What universe do you fucking live in? Like, are they fucking drinking Kool-Aid? Like, where is it?
They did drink the Kool-Aid. Well, maybe they need to drink the Kool-Aid. They haven't drank it yet.
I mean, it's a matter of time.
Yeah, it's a matter of time. But
girl,
when I watched another thing today with these cuckoos who, like, they still believe. Some lady today at a rally, I don't know if it was today, I saw the video today, who was saying that Trump is still president. And that Trump is still president, and she's got like this the crazy big hair, and the makeup, and she's got her Trump, and there's flags all around her. It's wild. And
circus is a circus.
It's a circus. And she was saying something like, what was she saying? That the world is moving in slow motion and everything is a movie. So like Biden it's a movie and Trump is president and there's this military thing. I don't even know what she was saying, and I was like, where is this information coming from? First of all, where are the people in her lives saying, okay, we need an intervention, right? Like I think we need an intervention. You need some sort, you got to go to some place to detox from Trump. You need a Trump detox. You need a MAGA detox. You got to get it out of your system because it's messing with your mind. It's messing with your mind. I'm thinking of, like a legit, intervention. Like the family sits around, they take the phone and they have to go, this is real, this is not real. Yeah. Okay, tell me what's real, this is not real. They have to break it's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's cultish behavior. We've watched, how many cult documentaries do we have to watch to know, like we literally, that Mother of God one, Mother of Love,
God.
They're literally talking to people who are still in the cult and they're talking to them, like, interviewing them. And they're talking and you're like, wait a minute, what? Yeah. Wait, what? Like, just...
There's something off. There has to be, and we've talked about this before, there's got to be something that is different, some wiring that is different. Because there are people who are born into these cults, because I've watched some of those too, where like their children, they grow up and that's all they know.
Right.
But they know inside.
No, there's something
they know
here.
Something is wrong, and they escape it. They make their way out of it because they know like this isn't how life is supposed to be.
Let me tell you something.
And but then there are people who stay in it forever, like those mother of
let me tell you something.
Love.
There's something that Trump tapped into here that was always fucking there, okay? He brought to light what white people think about quietly.
Some white people.
Well, anybody who could be in his base, basically.
Yeah.
And he said it out loud. And when he, at the time, was considered a very wealthy man, very successful, whatever, thought of as very high, some people, I think people in New York did not think of him that way.
No.
But presented himself as this, like, millionaire, and if he says that thing out loud, then it's okay if I say that thing out loud.
Right.
And he tapped into a vulnerability in people that was relatable. And when you point to the other and you say it's their fault that your life is shitty,
right?
Because they're coming to take your jobs, or they're coming. The immigrants are bad. The government is bad. Everybody's bad. I'm going to save you. And he tapped into something that people...
Time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
He came at a time where it was like after,
It was progressive. Obama and Obama. There was a lot of progressive things happening.
But there was the recession. There was, there was all of these things. Everything fell into place that allowed someone like this to step in.
Absolutely.
And on our little group thread, like the idea is that, when he goes away, it doesn't mean that it's gone. There's going to be someone else. There's the Matt Gaetz.
We'll see.
And hopefully that this small group of nut jobs, especially the ones all in the house, like go away.
Well, we've seen that, DeSantis was Trump in DeSantis' clothes, right? Like so it doesn't, will there be someone else? Yes. But Trump has that thing that DeSantis didn't have. So it'd have to come in a package of this kind of guy who seems like he loves everybody, but he's a massive fucking egotistical piece of shit.
He's so gross.
But I think, you know what I mean? Like the MAGA stuff doesn't work if it's not Donald Trump. So there could be somebody who comes along and could be like that. Matt Gaetz isn't that person.
Oh my God.
He's swarmy. The face is fucked up. The Joker face is not going to work.
Hooded brow. I can't take it.
No.
Beavis and Butthead.
Also, oh my God. His lawyer, Alina.
But they're trying to come back after him again.
Who?
Gaetz.
Oh, are they?
I think so. I was listening to something about it recently that like he's not off the hook. Oh God.
Okay. Yeah. So
she has tried to compare
Trump's
herself.
lawyer, who you would know, Alina Hanna. She, by the way, I saw some pictures of her from like 10 years ago. She's had like tons of plastic surgery. She looked like this nice, all-American girl, and now she's like pumped up with plumps with all this shit.
Like, stop with
she
the
walked through a fucking Kardashian goddamn transformation machine from Willy Wonka Nightmare or something. Anyway, she's a loudmouth, right? She's at these press conferences and she sits in the corner like this.
Oh, these
literally with her face like
duck face was what 10 years ago. Get over the duck face.
Well, her face, or her lips are like just injected, so
Yeah.
she's like, and she's bubblehead. Okay, she's a bubblehead, and so I think he hired her because she maybe looks like she feeds this MAGA vibe.
Ew.
But when she was his lawyer, she's his lawyer in the civil case and the fraud case that they're waiting to hear the verdict on, or like the damages, but also for the E. Jean Carroll defamation one, the second E. Jean Carroll case. And so I was listening to an analysis of that this week, and they were talking about how they played Alina outside going, and I will be repealing, and I've got the best case for a repeal, and she's going on and on. And so they cut back to the people talking about the case, and they're like, no, she got nothing. Like, apparently they had to submit that CNN video as evidence of he's continuing to defame her, right?
Yeah.
And so they they say, okay, we want to present the evidence, blah, 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 the CNN tape. And the judge looks at Alina and says, how do you object to this evidence? No objection. So evidence goes into the case, the trial. So it starts to play. She's like, I object. And the judge is like, nah, too late.
Girl,
and by the way, she was like, this happened several times. Like there were so many rookie mistakes she was making.
God. Has she ever tried a case in court?
I don't know.
Is this like
but
my cousin Vinny? Like my first time in court?
But afterwards she was like, and I will continue to stand by President Trump. And then he put out on Truth Social, he's interviewing firms for his repeal. So I'm like, well, I guess Alina's not coming. Alina's not coming. Where the fuck's not coming along for this?
My favorite thing was when she tried to compare herself to Taylor Swift.
Honey.
And that she was hotter than Taylor Swift. Girl.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's talk about the Grammys at the end.
Girl, I know, but
I know,
what are you doing?
No, but I want to talk about how we watched the Grammys together.
Yes.
But we'll talk about it at the end. That's all I have.
Okay. I have a story.
Oh, please.
It's a short and sweet
information.
It's a short and sweet.
I love short and sweet.
It's kind of going,
That's what they used to call me in high school.
Ooh.
That didn't work. I don't know if that works.
I haven't really done like just kind of I don't want to say basic, but like, kind of just...
All right.
A regular, it's not murder, it's not, because lately I feel like I've been doing more kind of like gritty or
you
like...
No need to explain.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I know.
All right, so today,
I'm
going to tell you the story of former public works superintendent, Scott Bartlett.
Oh.
Scott Bartlett served as Fairfield Public Works superintendent, but... his reckless handling of toxic waste unleashed one of the most devastating environmental disasters in Connecticut's history. I'm not laughing.
You're in a toxic waste kick lately.
Oh my God.
This is your second story in a row about toxic plutonium.
Well, yes. So
but somebody done fucked up at the...
Yes. I mean, dude, the public works...
By the way, you noticed I took my tree down?
I didn't even notice.
I'm so fucking bummed out, dude. I'm so fucking bummed out.
Oh, doesn't this space always look so
I hate it.
Yeah. Why don't you do an all-year tree and then do a Valentine's tree?
That's what my daughter
and like a
said.
St. Patrick's
We're
tree.
taking everything down.
And like a silver tree with seashells all over it.
All right.
It would be so cute.
Yeah, I was very upset.
And then a back-to-school tree. And then Halloween. You know where I'm going.
Who has this much time on our heads? Do you have this?
Listen, maybe soon. Maybe, no. What am I talking about?
Anyway, I was very sad. I was very sad to take it down. It felt like a member of the family. It's been here so long. It's been here since November.
Oh my God.
At least it's a fake tree and I didn't have to take it out to the curb. It'd be so fucking humiliated like I usually am.
Oh,
in mid-March, taking my tree out.
We've had our tree down and just sitting in the backyard and just recently put it on the curb. So like,
oh my God.
It happens. What do you? I mean, it's such a thing.
It is. It's a real thing.
So our story takes place in 2019 in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Oh shit! Recent.
So yeah, I don't have a whole ton of background, but essentially Bartlett worked for 40 years in some capacity in the city of Fairfield.
Wow.
And then, makes his way to that superintendent of public works over time. And he was around 57 years old when this all went down. And he was known in the town and, he dedicated his life to this position. So like any town, they work on improvements improvements and whatnot. So in 2016, the town got a company to clean up an area that was holding waste. So, you know, like anywhere when you're working on certain things or there's chemical plants or, you know, what have you, you got to do something with that waste. And then the city has to determine, like, how do we get rid of this stuff? Like, what is the right way to do it safely and legally and all of that so that it's not harming people. So they were supposed to build a berm around the waste. And a berm is basically like a raised piece of land that runs along a road or a river so that, like, the waste doesn't seep into the water or other things, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, it was built so that it wouldn't seep into, like, other people's property lines and stuff like that. So it was, like, just to contain the waste in some way. So the major incident, instead of building that berm, they had the company put the hazardous waste, like, inside the berm, like it, like, buried inside of it. So it's supposed to be, here's the berm and we're gonna, like, have the waste here, like, contained, but they, like, dug and put it inside. And it was, so basically they took, how they built the berm was they took toxic waste from a pond to build the berm. But the berm is supposed to prevent the toxic waste, right?
What the fuck?
And it's around this fill pile. So Bartlett was working with a local developer and also allegedly allowed tons and tons of contaminated soil to be dumped in various places all over the city.
What?
Places like parks,
No!
playgrounds, under pavilions, this one, like, pavilion area that, like, families and people and community members went to. They didn't really say because it was so recent, like, so I don't know if, like, years from now there's going to be ramifications from it. And then, like, in the parking lot of the pavilion, they put it underneath the parking lot, like, they just put it everywhere. And these are, again, areas where kids, families, pets are spending time. So,
dude,
the Connecticut Post reported that debris was also piled next to the Public Works garage, but with the caveat that no contaminated material be there. So they were like, okay, you could put some waste there, but it cannot be contaminated because it's like there's no way to be safe from the contamination.
Right.
And that wasn't the case. The pile that they put next to that garage grew to about 120,000 cubic yards in about 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
The pile, according to the Connecticut Post article, notes that there were high levels of PCBs, lead, and other hazardous waste. And PCBs are like human-made chemicals that, that help make plastic and things like that. But if you ingest it or you inhale it, it can suppress your immune system and you can get all sorts of diseases. So aside from the environmental stuff, which is enough on its own, Bartlett also stole close to $30,000.
What?
From a disabled woman.
All right.
Who, according to the Connecticut Post, he was made her conservator, like, you know, the whole Britney Spears thing, and he just took her money. Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking that he was just like a dummy and like didn't know he was supposed to do all the other things, but now he's a fucking dirtbag.
Yeah, he's a dirt. You know, imagine if someone who, and then, like, I guess one of the family members found out they found out that he, like, just took all her money.
Oh my gosh.
Who does that?
Piece of shit.
You know? It's so gross.
Same people who make $2 bills with their face on it.
With their mugshot on it.
Other mugshot.
So,
did you watch the new Curb Your Enthusiasm episode?
No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't watched it. I'm going to watch it this weekend. I just haven't had a chance yet.
All right.
So, some charges. According to Alfred Branch's Patch article, he was charged with larceny in the first degree, and that has to do with the $30,000 that he took from that woman.
Wow.
He was charged with illegal disposal of PCBs, disruption of a solid waste disposal area, receiving solid waste at an unpermitted facility, illegal disposal of the PCBs, and discharging materials into the waters of Connecticut without a permit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's like those, all I kept thinking of was, like, you know, The Simpsons have done it, but, like, you know, where, like, the truck rolls up and it's just like, do, and they just dump everything. In The Sopranos, they did it, you know, they just dump the waste into the water, and then, you know, someone's drinking or playing or fishing or doing something in that water. All right, so he goes to court and he's found guilty.
Okay.
So he gets 15 years. However, the 15 years the way the judge did it is like you have 15 years, but it's suspended after the first 5 years. I don't know why they wouldn't just give him 5 years, but it's 15 years suspended after 5 years in prison. And it runs concurrently to like 18 months that he got for like one of the other charges. So basically 5 years. And then 5 years of probation following his release. And he has to pay $1 million in restitution that will come from his monthly pension. So his pension is about $8,970 a month. And he has to give up half of that pension until he like pays off the $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah. And then after sentencing, the Connecticut Post reported that Bartlett stated to Superior Court Judge Tracy Lee Dayton, quote, "I take full responsibility and ownership for my actions. I can't blame others. I own it."
Wow.
The judge replied, "There are a lot of people in town who are very angry, and I don't blame them." I mean, imagine like you're in this, because it's not like a huge city. I mean, I would be livid if I knew I was like with my babies playing in a park and there's toxic waste like in the ground that they're falling and rolling around in. I would lose my mind.
That's
because
insane.
Again, like in 5 years, are they going to have lung issues?
Right.
Are they going to have asthma? Are they going to have cancer? Like, I would be freaking out. So one of the first selectmen of Fairfield, and that's basically like a commissioner, had this to say, quote, "His indifference to the health and safety of the people who live and work here in Fairfield translated into the contamination of over 40 sites in our town, including parks and fields where young children play, dogs are walked, and where his own colleagues work. The financial strain on our town caused by his actions will continue to impact our ability to fund essential school and town projects." Because they have to now clean all of this up.
Yeah.
So the aftermath. Fairfield may have to spend up to $100 million
Oh my gosh!
to fix the environmental mess that Bartlett created. $100 million.
Oh my gosh.
So how do you budget that? Like, that's coming out of everything. Like, that comes out of like your improvements and roads, and
you can't sell your house there now, by the way, right? Like, no one's gonna want to move there.
Oh no, if you're near like the toxic waste dump, no.
Well, who knows where that could be?
So
holy shit.
The town still has 182,000 tons of contaminated waste to deal with. And along with Bartlett, others were arrested and charged as well. There was Brian Carey, who was the interim director of Department of Public Works, Emmett Hibson, the former Human Resources Director, Robert Grabarick, an LEP for the Osprey Environmental Engineering Company. So they were all like in on it. So some points of interest. He tried to get the case thrown out because prosecutors didn't disclose a report that showed that the toxicity wasn't as high as originally thought, but the judge denied that. The judge said, "I'm not going to dismiss the case because of a late disclosure of a report." So yeah, it may not have been as high, but it was still high. Like he's like, "Get out of here. Like, you still did this horrible thing." The trial was supposed, so this happened around 2019, but COVID. So he really didn't get sentenced until much later because everything was like, remember that? Like, I forgot about that it was like some cases like years.
Yeah.
So, and then this is the funniest thing to me. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This guy's family, Bartlett's family, they had the balls to start a GoFundMe that read, quote,
"Oh, Lord.
As of August 16th, 2019, Scott Bartlett has been terminated after 38 years of service for the town of Fairfield Department of Public Works. We are now seeking financial assistance for legal defense and in support of our family. Any amount you contribute will be forever appreciated. Thank you, the Bartlett family." What?
People have no fucking shame.
How in the world are you going to ask people for money when he did this? He stole money from a disabled woman. Yeah. And he put
that's right.
the people in town in danger.
Forgot about that part.
He put all these people in danger, and you're going to be like, excuse me, could you help us out a little bit? We got these bills to pay. What? No.
So good.
No.
So fucking good.
So that's the story. That's my little short and sweet.
Love it. Very
good. The toxic
good.
superintendent of public works.
Very good. She always gotta have that little spin at the end.
Don't you know that I'm toxic? No, is that how it goes?
No. Yeah, that is how it goes. I'm addicted to you, but I know. Wait.
Oh, or you toxic. We don't know. All right, somebody's toxic.
Listen! I'm not a Britney Spears person. Well, I like her songs. Yeah,
but we support Britney Spears.
I mean,
Baby One More Time.
Honey, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, no, I don't know either. But you know what? Live and let live, man. Do your thing. She's been. What do you expect from this girl? She's been run through the ringer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Leave her alone.
So we went to our friend's house to watch. We went for dinner. But then my daughter was like, "Can we put the Grammys on?" So we put the Grammys on.
First of all,
oh,
her daughter was so adorable in the cutest dress ever. She is just so cute.
She's adorable.
She's adorable.
She's like, "I'm gonna wear that new dress," and I was like, "Oh, all right, let's see it." Oh, please,
so cute.
Stunning.
Yes. And smart.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's the best.
Creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really amazing.
Thank you. But anyway, we watched the Grammys. Now, I have not watched the Grammys in a very, very long time.
I haven't either.
Because a lot of the bands and music that I listen to, the Grammys don't know who they are. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people that I like aren't there. Yeah, because
you kind of more like indie.
Yeah.
I don't have cable, so like, where am I watching the Grammy? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think about it, to be honest.
I don't either. And usually,
I'm tired of award, because it's so long.
Well, I didn't realize.
On and on
and on
with the speeches.
I didn't realize it would go that long. I was shocked at how long it was going.
It's like, wrap it up already.
Yeah, and there was 3 in memoriams, but all right. There were so many good performances.
Yeah.
It was definitely like a Gen X fucking Grammys. We had Tracy Chapman, bitch. We had Annie Lennox.
Oh my god.
About Sinead O'Connor, which was fucking incredible.
Oh, so good.
Incredible. Everything. Miley effing Cyrus. I'm gonna tell you, because she comes up and I'm like, what is she doing with this hair? And she starts giving a speech and I'm like,
her speech.
And then she sang her song and I was like,
her speech made me so happy.
Yeah.
And we talked about it when we were there, but wow. I loved just how much she was excited and proud and like, this is my moment and I'm going to just enjoy it. Like, good for you.
She is definitely, that I'll give myself, I can buy myself flowers. Like, she's really living that, like, even in the song, she was filling in words and she's like, I didn't want to leave you, but I had to.
Ooh.
I didn't want to fight, but we did. I was like, and then she said, and I just won my first Grammy. She starts dancing around the stage.
So cute.
I was like, holy shit, she's a fucking star. She's a fucking star.
But it's just, to me, and I said it then, like, it felt so authentic.
Yeah.
And it just felt like, to me, it was like such girly vibes, she's like, this is, like, it was so cute.
Happy
Everything
in her life.
about it was cute and happy and fun and light. She didn't take herself too seriously. And she's like, this is my thing.
Yeah.
And I love that because I feel like with women sometimes, I don't know, like, we can't just enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
There's all this other stuff attached to it. And she's like, she just was like having fun.
Yeah.
I love that.
She's very confident in who she is.
Yes.
That's what you can see.
And the thing that I didn't like to see afterwards where people were like, couldn't she cover her tattoos? Couldn't she? And it's like, that's who she is. Like,
I don't know.
Let her go, man.
I was so fucking proud. Like, I thought she was incredible.
One thing I didn't like to see, even though I get it that it was a Tina Turner tribute, those shoulder pads. I swear to God.
Yeah, you keep bringing these up.
You don't remember the most annoying you would wear, and the shoulder pads would flip the wrong way, and then you have to straighten them out, or they fall out.
Worst.
Or, they were a nightmare, and you look stupid. You look square.
Yeah. Also, would it kill somebody to do a cover of What's Love Got to Do with It? Like, we can do a lot of tributes to Tina. I love that song.
Yeah.
Proud Mary, believe me. But What's Love Got to Do with It? It's a fucking banger.
Well, and that was like our generation Tina Turner.
But also
like the epitome of it.
But also that was Tina standing on her own 2 feet.
Yes.
That was her breakout. I'm a fucking star in my 40s.
Yeah.
A fucking incredible comeback for somebody who everybody wrote off.
And those legs and that
all that
video.
bullshit. She's a fucking star. Like, we can kill that song too. Like,
Yeah.
let's do it. Let's fucking kill it at that song in a tribute because that song is so fucking good.
So good.
Or I Don't Need Another Hero.
Ooh.
Come on, get to the Tina stuff. Fucking love it. I don't know.
Oh.
I love the performances were great. There's people I don't know who they are. Like my daughter's all about that SZA, like loves that SZA, and apparently that was a big album. I don't know. People were upset Taylor Swift won Album of the Year because they say it's not her best album.
Who cares?
I don't know. I
Who
don't know.
cares?
All I know is Boy Genius walked away with 3,
Woo!
and then let me tell you what happened. Come into my dark world for a minute, okay?
Uh-oh.
Because this is it. They have no plans to ever come back together to do this again. Nowhere in the future. They're all done, right? The next day, I don't know if Julian did this, but Lucy and Phoebe took everything off their social media. They unfollowed everybody. They took all their photos down, like clean slate photo. Phoebe, I don't even think has a photo on Instagram anymore as like a profile picture. They just deleted
They
everything.
just went dark.
Everything's gone.
Well, maybe this is like they're coming back with something else.
I don't know, but let me tell you something. Joy, one of my greatest joys in life is to go on the Phoebe's Instagram and just scroll through her old pictures. You know?
Yeah.
Before all of this stuff, and she's with her brother and all this stuff. Like those pictures, everything's gone. Everything's fucking gone. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then also,
well, maybe because they've gone mainstream, and maybe she wants some privacy.
I think they're
or
gonna.
something,
I think they're gonna start to reestablish themselves again as
solo.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Also, Alfredo tried to talk some shit about Boy Genius when I was there. Phoebe Bridgers.
Oh.
She was in the audience. He goes, I don't even know she's there. She's not winning anything. I almost had to cut him. I said to my daughter, get a knife because I'm going to cut this motherfucker. How dare he? How dare he?
Oh my God.
By the way, here's another. How about the Grammys do this? Give more awards away on camera. All these awards were off camera. They really
It was already 5 million hours
six.
long.
They showed like 6 awards.
So long.
It was all performances, all in memoriam, but there was good performance. I mean, I can't complain. I enjoyed it, and it was fun to watch it with everybody.
That was
we
the
were
thing.
all laughing and joking.
That's
and
why I'm
talking
excited
shit.
about the Super Bowl because, like, I don't care about the game, but it'll be fun. Just one, we got to see Taylor. Like, we want to see that. We want to see the romance.
Yeah, I gotta see it. Gotta see it. Yeah.
So I'm excited.
I'm so excited about it. But I.
Oh, and what else? Oh, so I watched something.
Oh, what?
I watched the Wham documentary.
Oh, how was it?
It was so good.
You know, I got the name Andrew Riggs. What's the?
I don't know. It's Andrew.
I got it right in trivia last Monday.
Oh.
Yeah, I had the right name.
Ooh.
That's right.
I want to go to trivia.
I'm going Mondays with my friends now because I don't have anything else to do.
Ooh, when I have it's hard. It's hard on a school night.
I know. Well, there's a teacher that comes and she leaves. She doesn't stay for like final round. So.
Oh, okay.
You want to come?
All right. Well, but it was really good.
Yeah.
And okay, so I used to have like Wham tapes when I was like a very young kid.
Yeah.
So, but
George Michael, honey,
and George Michael. But I mean, I had that stuff like when he became George Michael. But I also had the Wham stuff, and I forgot. So like when you're watching the document, like these songs come on, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like singing, and it made me so happy because, it's very poppy But the thing that was really great is like it really traced their evolution and how they started off as like a ska band, and like then they were like one of their first songs was really about like being a voice about like social issues that were happening, and then like he realized like that like this pop thing is a thing, and about like hiding who he was and his sexuality, and it was really, really good. And like the relationship between these two, and how close they remained, like, and then Andrew having to watch like him sort of propel, into stardom. It was so good, but like no ill will about it. It was really beautiful, a really beautiful, I think, testimony of their friendship. Fun to hear all the music. And the thing that was super cool is that Andrew says that his mom kept a scrapbook from when they started. So they met when they were like 12, and they started their band when they were like 16 or something. And she kept a book, and it's like book 1, book 2, of everything, every clipping, every single thing. And so like they show pictures of some of this.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, what an amazing mom, like everything to the end. And then like their last show, like so good.
Oh, all right.
It was really good. And then like it ended, and I'm like, oh God, now I gotta find a George Michael documentary, because like I want to know more about like, you know, what I feel so bad for him.
I love George Michael.
I did too, and I feel bad because I think a lot of the stuff that happened to him was because he couldn't be himself for a while, and then finally came out, and like, you know, and I think that he compensated, but it was really good. Yeah, really good, and it's the hairdos, and like it's just, and I didn't realize, because I was so young. Yeah. And I didn't realize like the impact that they had at the time, like that they were
huge. They were huge.
As I didn't realize how huge they were, and I didn't realize like the impact that they made internationally. Like it was really interesting. Like that's my thing now at the gym. I'm like, I'll watch a movie, I'll watch a show, and I watch that whole thing like over like 2 days at the gym, and I like on the like ready to cry. Like it was so good. So please watch it if you like it, and it's just fun to hear the music come in, and it was really, really interesting. Nice. But anyway, that's what I did this week.
Love it.
All right.
Well, I guess we'll see you next week.
Yup.
Bye.